of fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll love this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend / my co-host, Devin, and today we're here to break down and give our insights on Smile. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hey, spooky season is technically over, but this is like a delayed response from us because I was a little worried going to see this. I was like, I feel like I need to have a good night's sleep. I was finally able to muster up the courage. For whatever reason, I've been watching scary movies all through October, but something about this movie really creeped me the heck out. And I was like, But here we are talking about it today. And this is going to be the last horror movie, at least for now, to close out our spooky season with a bang. And before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, it feels like forever. How you been? What was the last thing we did? Oh, Enola Holmes, which comes out as of this recording, comes out this week. But yeah, how's your weekend been? How was your Halloween?
Well, it was a pretty relaxing Halloween. Didn't really do too much yesterday. Just kind of stayed in and watched that terrible football game. I'm sure your buddies weren't a fan of that one.
They were not, but hey, we didn't have a great run either on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about the season anymore. It's just whatever.
Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals. I mean, some may say that we actually have the best division in the entire league, but I got to say, I think the Ravens are the only team that are actually outperforming everyone this year. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, but it was very hard. I knew we were going to get destroyed by the Eagles. I knew that was going to happen. But last night's game, I actually did not. I watched a little bit of it, small little tidbits here and there. I was busy doing other things, and I was like, oh yeah, a lot of my friends are Cincinnati Bengals fans here in town, so they were not happy at all.
Poor Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah. I mean, hey, they're basically, they're right there. They're on the border. They might as well be a part of the great bluegrass state. But yeah, as for me, for my Halloween, actually, no, did you dress up for Halloween? Did you do anything during the weekend?
I did not dress up for Halloween. I saw you were quite a stranger costume. Yeah.
I was Dusty Bun, aka Dustin Henderson from Stranger Things season 4. Dustin, with his Hellfire Club shirt on. I went to a little Halloween get together on Saturday, and it was fun. Some people dressed up, some people didn't, but everyone was like, "Oh, you have the Hellfire Club shirt on," But
it's a cool shirt just to have in general.
I know. I'm very happy that I bought it. I actually bought it off of Netflix's website. I know you can buy them elsewhere. I think Spencer's and stuff like that. They might have their own. But yeah, I bought mine straight from the source. got that high quality one. So it's very, very important. But ladies and gentlemen, as we are here today, we're here to again close out our spooky season with a bang, and we're going to be reviewing Smile for you guys here today. So really quick, before we get into our review, we're going to get into our initial reactions and then spoilers, and then of course let's get into our final thoughts and then our ratings, and then we'll kind of talk about what's coming up on the podcast that you should be looking out for. So Devin, are you ready to smile?
Are you ready to smile?
That was, oh my gosh, no.
Cool, of course. Poster.
Yeah, Devin is holding up a little smile poster. Of course, this is an audio podcast, so we have to explain everything to the listener as if we're an audiobook.
Before we get into it, it actually, just so people know, it actually came down to either, what was it called, Pray for the Devil or Smile.
Yes.
I ended up seeing Pray for the Devil Friday, and it was just very, very average. Very paint by numbers, play by the book, Exorcist movie. So I'm glad we went with Smile, because I think Smile's better.
Yeah, I'm glad we went with Smile as well, because I know I was wrestling with that. I mean, there's some scary movies. I'm like, horror movies when it deals with all the exorcism stuff. I'm like, I'll leave that, over there. But yeah, I'm glad that we decided to cover Smile over Pray for the Devil, because everyone's been talking about this movie, and there was quite a few people in my theater. Like, this movie's been constantly making money.
It's been how long since it's been out?
Almost going on a month, I want to say. I mean, it took me a good while to watch.
September 30th. So yeah, almost exactly a month.
I'm surprised it's still in theaters, but I think Top Gun, I don't know if it's in theaters still, but I know the physical copy is coming out soon, or if it's not already out on like Blu-ray and DVD and such. But I know that had a very long theater run as well. But yeah, I'm actually kind of glad I went to go see this. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to Smile.
It's a mysterious, nightmarish roller coaster of an experience that I think you're going to want to talk about with your friends as soon as it's over.
How are you feeling today?
And action.
Teach an audience what they're meant to be afraid of.
What happens when you see it?
It's smiling at me.
Think about where they're going to expect the scare to be coming from. And then do the exact opposite. Pull the rug out from underneath them.
I wanted to dive into this definitely because of the script. Great conversation with Parker before we started shooting.
Reading the Parker script, that's what drew me to it.
This is not real.
It's real.
I chose to use the smile to represent the evil in the film because of the strength of the inherent contradiction. I wanted to see if I could turn a smile into a threat, something that feels dangerous and evil, and see if I could use that to really creep audiences out.
And we are back with our Smile review. This movie was insane. I don't know why it took me so long to watch this, but I'm still glad it was showing in theaters, on Halloween. Of course, it would be kind of odd if they didn't, show this on Halloween, because that's when I went to go see it. So that was one Halloween movie that I watched on Halloween. And then I watched the original Halloween. I haven't watched it in a while, and I was like, it just seems kind of fitting, but did not get around to those last two Mike Flanagan movies. I might pop those on, but we shall see. But I did tackle Gerald's Game in Hush this year and Bly Manor. So I feel like I got my Flanagan and The Midnight Club. Oh my gosh. So I definitely got my Flanagan fix in. Yeah, this year. So to introduce the cast of this movie is directed by Parker Finn and written by Parker Finn as well, and stars Sosie Bacon, Jessie T. Usher, aka A-Train.
I knew you'd be excited when you saw A-Train in there.
And Kyle Gallner as well. And the story is as follows. After witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality, which is pretty much on the nose. Like, it is, whew. But I'm actually, I'm going to save mine for last. I want to hear what Devin has to say about this movie. So Devin, give us your initial reactions for Smile.
I feel like I should have gone back and seen it. It's been a month since I've seen it. I don't have all the scenes memorized or anything, but yeah, my initial reactions a month ago, I guess, if I could dig back in my brain, were that it's a very well made horror movie overall. Like it's very, very well acted, especially Sosie Bacon. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Bacon's daughter, which is very interesting.
I knew. I had a feeling. I didn't want to assume though.
Kevin Bacon of they/them fame. I think his daughter's got the better movie of the year so far. That's for sure.
He might have the better special of the year though, with that Guardians of the Galaxy special.
That's true. He's still got some more to come. But yeah, I think she did amazing in her role as the main character Rose, and then there's some great supporting actors as well. We mentioned A-Train, got Cal Penn in here, Rob Morgan, who's a veteran actor. So yeah, it's very well put together. There's some good scares throughout. It's overall just very creepy, the atmosphere and everything around it. I would say the story, it becomes a bit generic, just kind of your run-of-the-mill like curse type of movie, like The Ring or like The Grudge or It Follows, where it's just kind of there's a curse that follows people from death to death, and you have to try to figure out why and what's happening. And then there's the grand finale at the end, which I found kind of funny at parts. Just the monster that we got at the end just kind of looked a bit interesting. Didn't look very scary to me. I kind of like was chuckling at certain points when it's just another kind of tall lady monster. It seems like a theme that's been going around in horror where you just kind of get very tall, lanky monsters. But this one just kind of looked funny to me. I don't know. But overall, it was well made, and I had a good time with it.
Yeah. So speaking of tall, lanky monsters, that reminds me of Barbarian, which you can actually go and stream on HBO Max right now. And I thought that was...
I actually just rewatched it Sunday with the family. I made them watch it.
Oh, how did they like it?
They liked it. I told them it's my favorite horror movie of the year, and they were like, no way, it can't be that good.
See... Yeah, I've been trying to wrestle with what is my favorite horror movie of the year. I know there's a few that we haven't seen. Of course, I haven't seen Pray for the Devil, or we both haven't seen The Invitation, but I feel like that's just another, like, not a knockoff, but it just seems so similar to Ready or Not. But it just, a little bit of, it feels like two of the same movies were made. Yeah. It feels like two of the same movies were made for sure. But for my initial reactions for Smile, like I said, I'm looking at the poster right now, like on Letterboxd, and it's still creeping me out. Like, it's just so weird, and there's so many effective jump scares in this movie that aren't lazy by any means of the imagination. And I was on the edge of my seat mostly the entire movie, but I thought this movie was well shot. I thought it was pretty well written for what it is, but I really
they went kind of crazy with the drone shots. There are quite a few of those throughout.
For sure. But I really like how it tackled like how trauma and mental illness can like pass from like one person to like another. So I thought that was like, the main theme of what was going on. But of course, it is like this evil entity, not, you can say a curse, but they're not necessarily possessed. So it was freaky, man. There was at least maybe 10 people in my theater watching this on Halloween. Like, I think we went to like a 12:30 showing, if not. But yeah, it was, there was like 5, like,
there might be more than there were in the theater I was in for Pray for the Devil. I think that movie just kind of came and went. Nobody really talked about it.
Yeah, because I mean, no, I'm not gonna lie. I looked at that Rotten Tomatoes score. I was like, oof. It didn't look bad, but I'm like, it wasn't like great either. I'm like, is this like another?
Just very generic.
Yeah, I thought it looked very, very generic, and I was like, maybe. But for Smile, I was so terrified because the jump scares got me. I mean, that they're coming, but they're so well placed out. And for this being like an original film that was originally supposed to go to streaming, I believe, at some point, but I don't know when they decided to make that shift over to the theater. But I mean, sitting in a dark room, with people around you, like, it was the most effective way to watch this. And I mean, just the themes and the ideas of, how it's like you said, for It Follows. It's like that stuff's been done to death, but at the same time, it was so effective here. But I really, really enjoyed Sosie Bacon's performance. Like, and of course, A-Train.
Yeah, she definitely carries the movie. Without her, it definitely would have lost some of its power.
A-Train dipped again.
Yeah, he was like, no, I'm gone.
He dipped again. But I was very surprised of how good this movie is. And I don't know if I'll ever own it, but like if I really want to get creeped out, this is one. This reminds me of when we watched The Night House last year, because that jump scare, there's a few jump scares in here that weren't shown in the trailer. There was one with the head thing.
Yeah, that was the really good one in the trailer.
Yeah, but the rest of them were pretty, the trailer did a great job of not showing everything. So that's what I really appreciated about it. But enough of me chitter-chattering on here. Let's get into spoilers really, really quick. Before we do, Devin, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we move on here?
I just wanted to give a quick mention. It's kind of just been the year for original horror. Like, it's been mentioned on Twitter before, but a lot of successful movies have been original horrors. We had the Black Phone, Barbarian, Smile, just a lot of original ideas in horror. It's refreshing for people. Fresh, that's another one, just popped in my mind. But
oh yeah, that's right. Fresh did come out this year. Wow. Did you watch that?
it's definitely showing that there's a market for people to go see original horror movies. Like, I think that's a good sign for the future. But yeah, I didn't see Fresh, and it was really good.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, my gosh, I totally forgot that. I mean, even though They/Them is not the best horror movie in the world, it was it was an original movie. It just wasn't. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
and that's all I can really say, because we had, just for horror altogether, but like you said, for original horror movies, it's been, I would call Morbius a horror movie, because that was terrifying. Not like terrifying, but in a different way. It's Morbin time. And of course, we also had Men as well, but I'm not sure if you saw that. I think that is one that you might have missed. And of course, we had Bodies. I know you're not super crazy about it, but yeah, it has been a really, really good year for horror. I mean, especially with X and Pearl as well. So yeah, it's been crazy, man. Like, my gosh. I mean, I would never recommend, the only movie out of all these I would never recommend would be They/Them.
Yeah,
my gosh,
it's just rough.
I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, Kevin Bacon. Yeah, this is going to be amazing. Nope. And I mean, whether or not you consider
you just did another one. Nope. Can't forget that.
Oh yeah, that's my gosh. Nope. Yeah. Nope came out this year as well. It really has been a great year for horror. And there's a few others out there that I actually have not been able to watch, but yeah, just a great year for originality in horror. You can honestly say that horror has been carrying the film industry of 2022. And I can also say that outside of horror, I think TV has been outshining movies altogether, just because we've just had so many amazing TV shows this year. But yeah, I would actually say that horror has been carrying this year on its back, and it's been doing a really great job. So Academy, if you're listening, you need to give Mia Goth that nomination. That's all I gotta say. You know what? Throw Sosie Bacon in there too. I don't care.
Yeah, might as well. Keke Palmer. I'll throw that out there too.
Oh yeah, of course. Keke Palmer. Yes, Keke Palmer as well. And if there was like a exclusive like horror, like best like supporting actor and actress, that would be very interesting to see. I want like a horror,
the Scream Queen Award,
the Scream Queen Award, or like a horror movie Academy, like its own separate award for all things horror, because you got to give them some kind of recognition. It's literally the only genre that like the entire Academy just like blocks out of their memory. It's the weirdest thing ever. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into spoilers. So that is your first spoiler warning for Smile again. That is your second spoiler warning for Smile. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, I know we're talking about it late, but better late than never. It's still showing in theaters. So definitely go see it if you can. If you've already seen it and you're listening, welcome. But so let's get into spoilers here really, really quick.
There's not a lot to spoil, actually. If you think
Right.
about it.
So I was going to say, I guess it is just because the entire movie, you know, it starts with this one girl who, you know, comes into the hospital, speaks to Rose about the things that she's been seeing. And we obviously don't know what it is. We haven't seen it up to this point. So, of course, the curse gets passed on to Rose as she witnesses this girl like violently just, you know, slice her face.
Great start.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Great start. And then from there on, the entire movie is about her, you know, about Rose experiencing these things. And not only that, but it kind of opens up the door to her past trauma and her anxiety about her mother taking her own life as well. So that kind of triggers things. And we figure out this being, I don't know if it necessarily has a name, but this entity feeds.
It has a very funny voice at one point.
Hello, Rose.
I was like, where does that come from? That's just weird. So random.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so we're doing that, you know, that the multi-level like voice devil-esque like hello Rose or something like that. I don't know. I was like, oh, like for a second I was like, but yeah, it was just a giant.
The voice was a big for me. I was like, that just didn't fit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it did its job for what it is, because I mean, half of horror is like, you know, those super loud, like there's nothing scarier than waking up in like the middle of the night and then like hearing like knocking on your door or like thumping, and it's just like it always gets you. But yeah, of course, you know, there's a lot of jump scares in this movie as well. But yeah, as I was saying before, you know, we start to see, you know, the things that Rose is experiencing from this other person, and they miraculously find like this like 20-person chain that this has been happening to. And Rose dies. I had a feeling she wasn't going to make it out, but when she stepped into like their old like childhood home, I was like, oh, this is going to be creepy. But then the twist is you think that Rose defeats the entity, the monster, but it's all like in her head. And I was like, oh man, like that was pretty clever. But what did you think of that twist? I guess that would be the spoiler, but
yeah, I guess the twist, I mean, the monster like tricks her into thinking she won, but then she kind of is awoken back in the real life, and her ex-boyfriend, I'm trying to remember, she goes back to his apartment, or at least she thinks she does, but then it ends up being that she's still entranced or whatever. Yeah,
because the monster makes it seem like she set the monster on fire and then she escapes. And I was like,
she sets herself on fire, right?
Yeah, towards the end. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the curse continues because her plan was to, you know, it was about a week, no patient or nobody who was cursed with this entity had lasted longer than a week. So she decides to go out to her old family home, which they kind of slightly mentioned during the beginning of the movie, and to wait out her days until she's dead in order to kill this thing forever. But I feel like the monster would have known that. So that's probably why, you know, that whole ruse happened. But I thought it was very, very clever for what it was. But yeah, I guess that is the twist.
I guess there's one other reveal with the poor cat.
Gosh, yes.
It's messed up a bit, and then just scars that her little nephew for life, I feel like.
That was terrible. I did not expect that to happen, at all.
I figured something would happen to the cat, but I didn't think. I put it together as he was about to open it. I was like, oh boy, that's not good.
And they didn't, because we saw her wrap the train all together, and I was like, okay, you know, that's in the box. When did that switch out? I'm like, what kind of powers does this thing have?
I mean, it's got limitless powers. Apparently, you can just make voices. It can make you super tall. Just anything you want.
It was the monster was. I mean, it was kind of freaky, but like, yeah, it was just like a giant lady with like super big eyes and like a really big
it's just
smile.
kind of the generic go-to, tall, lots of limbs. It's been going around for the past few years.
Right. Well, I will say, much like with Barbarian and Mother, but I will say it was pretty graphic at times. Like when they're like pulling like the skin off their face and the monster's doing the same and like engulfs her in. That reminded me of seeing Men, A24's Men. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there is a really freaky like flesh scene that happens in that movie where it lasts, personally, I think it lasts a little bit too long, but it feels like it lasts like 10 minutes, but it doesn't really, but on at least the first watch. But yeah, that was pretty graphic for a horror movie, for Smile. I did not expect them to go that far. But yeah, I mean, the monster was pretty generic, but I was expecting her mom or like the entity of her mom to like to start sprinting towards her. But I was like, oh no, she's not going to do that. But the guy did. Her ex-boyfriend did. But we already saw that in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall, I think it's I think it's a fine movie, probably one of the best horror movies out there this year. But did you have any other final thoughts before we get into our ratings here?
I think we covered most of it. Yay, original horror.
Yeah, original horror for the win. It's, I feel like we've talked about this movie enough, but it's because really there's not much that happens. Like, I mean, it's a thrill ride for sure, but like once it's over, it's over. This isn't like part of a franchise or anything. And I hope they don't try to make it a part of a franchise, but
they probably will, I would imagine, based on how successful this has been. Smile to the smiling.
And the smiling, smile to they/them.
Oh no. Bacons unite.
the Bacon verse is here.
They could get Kevin Bacon for a sequel.
They could.
He's looking for his lost daughter who's been mysteriously killed.
Oh, there we go. In more ways than one. A lot of I think there's a lot of layers there. I think that can happen. I think this is this through Universal or is this Paramount? I think this is Paramount. Yeah, it is Paramount. Yeah, distributed by Paramount Pictures. That's what I thought. And edited by Elliot Greenberg. So, with all that said, we have pretty much reached the end of our review here. So, Devin, what would you give Smile for your rating?
I give Smile a solid 70. Like I mentioned, it's very well made, very well acted. There's definitely some issues with the story and kind of the genericism of the ending and kind of the track they chose to go with. But like I said before, original horror for the win, and did a good job overall. Okay. Yeah. So 70 out of 100 for Devin. For me, I think I'm going to give this, I actually think I am going to give this like a solid 80 out of 100 because on Letterboxd, I gave it about, like 4 out of 5 stars. Like, I think this is definitely one of the best horror movies of this year. It does everything it's supposed to do. Like we say, it's disturbing. There's a lot of themes and layers. You might want to call it elevated horror. Horror. I don't know. I think we're fighting back on that one now. These directors don't like it.
Yeah, I guess so. But that is definitely a conversation for another time. But all horror is equal no matter what people label certain things. But yeah. So yeah, I would give it a solid 80. Like I said, I think that this has done its job. It definitely creeped me the heck out. So job well done to the cast and crew. Job well done to Parker Finn. Because it felt like a Flanagan movie for a few, jump scares here and there. Because my gosh, that was, it was very unsettling. But that's what a horror movie is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep you on your toes, give you that adrenaline rush. So with all that said, that concludes our episode here of Smile. And if you like what you heard on today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice and share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your significant other. Make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a movie lover in need. And really quick, what is coming up / what is out right now on the podcast? What is out right now? We have our Enola Holmes 2 review. It is spoiler free for everyone to listen to. It hits Netflix November 4th. And we also have our Hot D season finale, which we covered with the amazing Tessa, aka Mama's Geeky. And you can also check out our Black Adam review that me and Devin covered together. And whew, that was a doozy. But with all that said, for our on deck, what's coming up next? We got some Black Panther, some Wakanda Forever coming out, and some Glass Onion on Netflix. I'm very, very excited for that. But and of course, we're going to be reviewing A24's latest movie called Causeway, which stars the Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry as well. It is a cool hour and 30-minute movie, Devin. It's nice. You know, it has that A24 vibe. I think you're going to like it. I really think you're going to like it. So with all that said, we hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys next spooky season. Not really, but we'll see you guys later.
Peace.